Queen Nerathia of the Zilori stood beneath the vast glass dome of the arboreal council hall, her slender form framed by the soft glow of bioluminescent vines. She was tall and graceful, her teal skin smooth and cool in the gentle light. Around her, humans and Zilori elders watched in respectful silence. Today she would leave her people for the first time in centuries, offered as a gift to humanity. The very idea felt strange to her, stirring a blend of pride and dread in her heart. Dr. Evan Calder stood at a distance, adjusting his coat and smoothing his hair. As the xenobiologist chosen to host the Queen, he felt the weight of his responsibility. He had studied alien life for years, yet nothing in his experience prepared him for the honor and the challenge of caring for a sovereign. He inhaled deeply, tasting the faint scent of damp earth and fresh orchids that the council hall's gardens exuded. His pulse quickened as he watched Nerathia's dignified posture and calm expression. She seemed to bear her fate like a queen should, but he sensed a hidden tremor of worry beneath her serene mask. Ambassador Talia Reyes, the human envoy who had arranged this unprecedented exchange, stepped forward with measured grace. In her deep blue gown, she moved like water. Every step deliberate and assured. She had spent years negotiating peace between worlds, smoothing old wounds and building new bridges. Now she would oversee the passing of one of the galaxy's greatest treasures into human care. With a gentle voice that carried clearly through the hall, she began the ceremony. Honored guests of Earth and Novalith, Talia spoke, her tone warm yet formal. Today marks a new chapter in interstellar friendship. We present Queen Nerathia of the Zilori to the people of Earth, in trust and hope. May our worlds grow together in wisdom and peace. A hush fell as Talia bowed slightly, toward Nerathia. The Zilori queen returned the gesture, her eyes large and luminous meeting Talia's. In that silent moment, the two women shared a bond of purpose. Across the hall, Councillor Lyrae watched with stern eyes. A traditionalist among the Zilori, elders, Lyrae carried the burden of centuries-old fears about mixing species. She remembered tales of hybrid disasters, of diminished lineages and broken traditions. Yet she also understood the dire need for unity in the face of cosmic threats. Her lips pressed into a thin line as she measured the sacrifice Nerathia was making. With a final nod, Ambassador Reyes beckoned Dr. Calder forward. Dr. Calder, will you accept Queen Nerathia into your care, bearing in mind the sacred trust of your peoples? Evan stepped to the front, feeling the weight of countless eyes upon him. He knelt on one knee before the Queen, bowing his head. His calm voice carried across the hall. Queen Nerathia, I pledge to honor your dignity and your heritage. I will use all my knowledge and skill to ensure your comfort and to explore the possibility of bridging our species, should your heart desire it. A gentle murmur ran through the audience. The Zilori elders exchanged glances, some frowning, others betraying a flicker of hope. Nerathia's voice, soft but clear, responded. Dr. Calder, I accept your promise. May our alliance bring strength to both our peoples. As she spoke, her words seemed to carry a quiet power, like the song of a hidden stream. The council hall's chamber doors swung open on either side, revealing a corridor lined with living trees whose leaves shimmered with bioluminescent patterns. Nerathia paused, looking down the corridor as though seeing two possible futures stretch out before her. One path led to hope and unity, the other to shame if she failed. She squared her shoulders and took a step forward. Dr. Calder rose beside her and offered his arm, a gesture of friendship that crossed the gulf of species. Together, they walked through the corridor, their steps echoing softly against polished stone. Servitors from both worlds fell into respectful formation behind them, carrying gifts and equipment. Among the offerings were delicate flasks of human biotech serums and ancient Zilori relics, tools meant to heal and to honor. Nerathia's amber eyes flicked curiously over the items. She touched one of the flasks, feeling its smooth surface, and wondered if it held the key to her own hidden destiny. Beyond the corridor lay the Pavilion of Unity, a domed structure set aside for the Queen's residence. Inside, the air was warm and fragrant, filled with the scent of earth roses and alien moss. A low fountain burbled in the center, sending ripples of light across the floor. Soft cushions lined the walls, and a small platform of smooth wood stood ready for Narathia's morning meditations. The pavilion had been designed to accommodate both human and Zilori needs, a testament to shared respect. As Narathia entered, Dr. Calder set down the biotech case beside a sleek console. "Your Highness," he said, "this pavilion will be your home for the coming months. I have assembled the finest comforts from both our worlds. If you need anything, medicine, books, even simple tea, just ask." He gave her a small, genuine smile. He wanted her to know that he saw her not as an experiment but as a friend. Narathia inclined her head, her long hair brushing her shoulders. "Thank you, Dr. Calder. Your kindness eases my heart." She ran her hand along the console, noting the gentle hum of alien circuitry beneath her fingertips. Though she spoke softly, her tone carried authority and grace. Evan watched her with admiration. He knew that to nurture a queen was no simple task, but he believed in the power of science paired with empathy. Outside the pavilion, Counselor Lyre lingered in the shade of a willow-like tree. She folded her arms, contemplating the scene. Narathia stood before the console, and Evan worked busily at his instruments. The future felt fragile, like a young leaf on the wind. Lyre's mind replayed the ancient prophecy her people whispered, about a barren queen, offered to outsiders who would bear the child to unite two worlds. She had dismissed such tales as myth. Now she wondered if myth might become truth. In that quiet moment, the sun dipped low behind distant spires, casting the pavilion of unity in golden light. A gentle breeze stirred the vines overhead, and the first stars began to glow in the sky. Within the pavilion, Narathia took a deep breath and closed her eyes, centering herself in the stillness. Dr. Calder straightened and prepared the first round of diagnostics, unaware of the prophecy drawing its first thread toward reality. On the balcony above them, Ambassador Reyes watched the scene unfold. She felt a surge of hope so strong it warmed her from within. For years, she had dreamed of day when humanity would stand side by side with its oldest allies. Now, as Queen, Narathia's new protector, Dr. Evan Calder stood at the gateway of a miracle. It was here, under alien starlight and human ingenuity, that the fate of two worlds would begin to intertwine. And neither queen nor scientist could yet know how deeply their lives and the lives of all would be changed. Queen Narathia awoke to soft light filtering through bioluminescent petals that lined the Pavilion of Unity's windows. She stretched her long limbs and rose from a cushion, feeling the gentle hum of the room's life support systems. Across the chamber, Dr. Evan Calder prepared a steaming pot of chamomile tea infused with Zilori moss. Their days together began this way, a blend of human comforts and alien tradition. As Narathia sipped the warm brew, she closed her eyes and let the pageant of flavors soothe her. To her surprise, she found the earth-grown herbs calming, just as the moss lent a subtle sweetness. Evan watched quietly, setting out small bowls of fresh fruit, earth berries and Zilori spores that glowed faintly in the dim light. It was simple, peaceful. Each morning ritual brought them closer, bridging worlds one small step at a time. After breakfast, Evan led Narathia to the pavilion's central diagnostic console. He checked her vital signs with gentle precision, explaining each reading in easy English. "Your heart rate is steady," he said. "Your biosignals are strong. Today, I want to try a new probiotic serum from my lab." Narathia listened, nodding thoughtfully. She trusted Evan's care, though a part of her wondered if reliance on human medicines might feel like betrayal to her people. Once the scans were done, Narathia performed her own ceremony. She knelt on the wooden platform at the chamber's edge, placed her hands on her chest, and hummed a low, resonant note. Vines around the pavilion responded, glowing brighter in time with her bio-song. Evan watched in quiet awe as the queen's voice seemed to call life into the plants. He understood that for Zilori, healing was more than chemicals. It was a harmony of mind, body, and nature. Later that day, Ambassador Talia Reyes arrived to observe the Queen's progress. Dressed in her deep blue gown, she carried a small translator, orb at her belt. She greeted Narathia with a respectful bow. "Your Highness," Talia said, her voice gentle, "how do you find life here?" Narathia smiled, her teal eyes reflecting the afternoon light. "I have learned that human homes can feel warm," she replied. "And your medicines bring me comfort." The ambassador nodded, pleased that the Queen's spirit remained open. But peace did not reign unchallenged. Counselor Heir paid an unscheduled visit that evening. Narathia and Evan sat by the fountain, watching water ripple over smooth stones. Heir's stern face appeared at the pavilion door. She entered without invitation, her steps echoing on marble floors. "Queen Narathia," she said, voice tight, "you immerse yourself in human ways each day. Have you forgotten our customs?" Narathia rose to meet her elder, adapting her posture to match Silori respect. "I honor our customs in song," she answered, "but I also learn from humans, for our future depends on unity." Heir's eyes flickered with doubt. She turned to Evan, who stood quietly by a console. "Human," she said, using the Zilori word for outsider, "you treat her as a patient, but she is our sovereign. You must not overshadow her ways." Evan inclined his head. "Counselor," he replied calmly, "I respect the Queen's traditions. I only offer help when she asks. We work together, not apart." Heir studied him, then bowed her head. The tension in the room eased, though an undercurrent of worry remained. After Heir left, Narathia closed the pavilion doors and sighed. "I feel torn," she said softly. "My heart pulls me to Zilori's song, but my mind accepts your guidance." Evan placed a gentle hand on her arm. "You carry both worlds in you," he said. "That is not a weakness. It is your strength." Narathia looked at him and for the first time smiled without reserve. "Then let us walk this path together," she said. That night, under a sky of distant suns, Evan set up a small telescope on the pavilion balcony. He adjusted the lenses and showed Narathia swirling galaxies and glittering star clusters. She pressed her hand to his arm, marveling at the view. In Zilori lore, the stars were living spirits. Evan explained human theories of cosmic origin in simple terms, watching as Narathia's eyes shone with wonder. "On my world," she said, "we see the stars as our ancestors. You see them as grand problems to solve. Both views hold truth." Their talk turned to the Zilori prophecy, an old myth of a queen who would bridge species through her child. Narathia hesitated, but then shared the tale. Evan listened silently, feeling awe and responsibility. "If this prophecy guides you," he said, "then we must honor it together." Narathia nodded. "I will not fear destiny," she promised, "but I also will not bear this burden alone." Over the next weeks, their routines intertwined ever more. Narathia taught Evan the art of biosong, how vocal harmonics could soothe pain and strengthen cells. Evan instructed Narathia in human, botanical arts, showing her how earth herbs could complement her own regenerative rituals. They shared meals, Zilori spiced soup and human bread, sitting side by side as equals. Meanwhile, news of the Queen's adaptation spread throughout Novolith and Earth. Scientists on both sides took keen interest, and reporters waited for updates. But in the Pavilion of Unity, Narathia and Evan created a world apart, one where mutual respect and simple kindness held more power than any headline. They walked in the gardens, studied under moonlight, and practiced diplomatic discussions about future treaties. One morning, Evan arrived with good news. "The latest serum shows positive signs," he said, holding a small data pad. "It may support cellular growth in ways we did not expect." Narathia studied the figures with a thoughtful frown. "Then our worlds grow stronger," she said quietly. "Science and song together." Evan grinned. "Yes, together." As part 2 drew to a close, Narathia sat by the fountain, humming her bio-song. Evan watched, feeling hope bloom in his chest. Counselor Heir walked past at a distance, and for a moment, Narathia's gaze met hers. No words passed between them, but the silent understanding was clear. Old fears could be overcome. Under the gentle glow of pavilion lights, 2 worlds moved toward unity, one shared ritual at a time. Queen Narathia woke before dawn, her mind heavy with anticipation. A soft blue glow pulsed from the console beside her bed, reminding her of today's crucial test. Dr. Evan Calder had prepared a new set of biosensors, tiny floating devices that would monitor every breath, every beat of her heart, and every subtle change in her cells. Narathia rose carefully, smoothing the folds of her ceremonial robes. Outside, the pavilion of Unity's gardens slumbered beneath mist. Narathia stepped onto the marble terrace, her bare feet cool against the stone. The air smelled sweet, as if the world itself were holding its breath. She closed her eyes and sang a low bio-song, a melody her people used to call forth life's hidden powers. The vines around the terrace responded, glowing brighter at her command. Dr. Calder arrived at the terrace moments later, carrying a sleek case of instruments. His face was bright with hope. "Good morning, Your Highness," he said softly, setting the case on a marble bench. "Today we will begin the advanced monitoring. I believe it could reveal something truly remarkable." Narathia nodded, her heart fluttering with a mixture of fear and hope. Evan opened the case and drew out the biosensors. Each device was a tiny orb of light, no larger than a marble. "These will float near you," he explained. "They measure hormone levels, cellular growth signals, and a host of other metrics. If there is anything unusual happening, we will see it." Narathia extended her hand. Evan placed one orb on her palm, and it lifted into the air, hovering gently beside her. The other sensors gathered around, Evan activated the console. Lines of light traced patterns on its surface, linking to each orb. Narathia felt a warm hum in her chest, as if her body welcomed these watchers. She settled onto a low cushion, folding her legs beneath her. Evan sat opposite, eyes glinting with excitement. Minutes passed in silence, broken only by the soft hum of the sensors. Narathia closed her eyes, breathing steadily. She focused on her bio-song, letting the melody flow through her body. Below the console's glass top, Evan watched data streams flicker across the screen. His brow furrowed in concentration. Suddenly, the data changed. A bright green line arced upward. Evan's eyes widened. "Your Highness," he whispered, "you are showing signs of cellular regeneration at levels we have never seen before." Narathia opened her eyes, surprised. "Regeneration?" she asked softly. "I feel no different." Evan nodded. "But here," he said, pointing to the screen where another line rose. "Hormone markers indicate early gestation. You are carrying life." Narathia's breath caught in her throat. Time seemed to slow. Her mind raced through every prophecy she had heard, every warning she had known. Could this truly be happening? The sensors hummed, confirming the data. Evan reached across the console and squeezed Narathia's hand. "This is a miracle," he said. "You have conceived." Tears of wonder filled Narathia's eyes. A flush warmed her cheeks, and the mist in the garden seemed to glow around her. Yet joy did not come without its shadow. Narathia remembered Counselor Heir's stern words. Would her people accept this child? Would humans respect her wishes? She looked at Evan, searching his eyes. He smiled gently, offering strength. Evan spoke softly. "Your Highness, this child will belong to both our worlds. We will honor your customs and protect your privacy. No one will know until you choose to reveal the news." Narathia nodded, comforted by his promise. Together they shut down the sensors and stowed them away. That afternoon, Narathia rested in her private chamber, wrapped in soft blankets. Evan prepared a healing broth of Zilori spores and earth vegetables. He set the bowl before her, and Narathia ate with slow, thoughtful bites. Each mouthful felt sacred now, knowing the life growing within her. As she ate, memories of home filled her mind, verdant forests under twin moons, the soft coo of singing birds, the gentle rocking of her cradle. Tears slipped down her cheeks. She wondered if her child would know both worlds or if it would feel torn between two heritages. Evan noticed her tears. He placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Your Highness," he said, "this child will be a bridge. It will learn your song and our science. It will walk the paths of both peoples." Narathia leaned into his touch, drawing comfort from his words. That evening, under a sky pricked with stars, Narathia and Evan met on the balcony. The twin suns had set, leaving a veil of twilight. Narathia began her bio-song, slow and stirring, while Evan recorded the notes on his pad. She sang of hope, of unity, of the life that now stirred within her. The song echoed over the domed gardens, reaching far into the night. Afterward, Narathia turned to Evan. "I feel promise in every note," she said, "but I also feel fear. What if this child cannot belong to either world?" Evan looked up, at the stars. "Every new life faces uncertainty," he replied. "But love gives identity. You will teach your child to stand proud as Zilorian human." Days passed in a blur of quiet wonder. Narathia's morning rituals grew longer, her bio-song more complex. Evan adjusted his treatments, adding gentle supplements to support her, changing body. Counselor Heir visited again, drawn by rumor and responsibility. She found Narathia in the meditation chamber, humming a lullaby. Heir bowed, her expression unreadable. "Queen Narathia," she said, voice soft, "I come at your invitation." Narathia opened her eyes and smiled. "Please stay, Elder." Heir hesitated, then stepped into the chamber. Narathia gestured to a cushion. "Sit with me." For a long moment Heir remained standing. Then she lowered herself beside the queen. Narathia took Heir's hand. "I have news," she said. "Our work together has borne fruit. I carry a child." Heir's eyes widened in shock. Tears gathered at her temples. "This is the prophecy," Narathia continued. "The unifier draws breath." Heir looked at Evan, who bowed his head in respect. Then she gazed at Narathia, tears slipping free. "If you will have me," she whispered, "I will serve as your guide." Narathia's relief was like a warm wave. "I ask nothing more," she said. Under the portico, the three shared stories of old and new, Zilori legends of the stars, human tales of exploration. They laughed quietly, their voices weaving a tapestry of unity. The barrier between species melted in that gentle night air. On the fourth dawn, Narathia felt the first flutter of life within her. She gasped, clutching her robes. Evan, standing nearby, rushed to her side. "It is the child," she said, voice trembling. "It moves." Evan smiled, his eyes shining. "Yes," he said. "Life stirs." Narathia closed her eyes, placing a hand on her belly. A warmth spread through her and tears flowed down her face. She felt connected to every being on two worlds, the trees, the waters, the human hearts that had welcomed her. In that moment, hope dawned brighter than any star. End of Part 3. Queen Narathia settled into a new morning ritual that blended Zilori ceremony with human protocol. She awoke in the Pavilion of Unity as soft dawn light filtered through the glass domes. Dr. Evan Calder awaited her with a tray of herbal tea, earth chamomile mixed with Zilori sap extract. Narathia accepted the cup with both hands, breathing in its warm, calming scent. "Good morning, Your Highness," Evan said, bowing his head slightly. "Shall we begin?" Narathia nodded. After sipping the tea, she led them in a brief bio-song, meditation. Her voice rose and fell in gentle waves, and the pavilion's plants responded with a soft glow. Evan closed his eyes, matching his breath to her rhythm. Each morning, their shared ritual wove deeper trust between them. By midday, the pavilion's council chamber filled with delegates from Earth and Novalith. Ambassador Talia Reyes stood at the head of a long table etched with symbols of both worlds. Human officials in smart uniforms sat on one side. Zilori elders draped in flowing robes took seats opposite. Nerathia and Evan entered together, Nerathia wearing an embroidered sash that blended Zilori leaf patterns with Earth's star map. The crowd fell silent. Talia spoke in clear, measured tones. "We gather today to forge the Charter of Unity. Our goal is to protect the Queen and her unborn child, and to define rights for all future hybrids between our species." She laid out a scroll. "Here is the first draft. We welcome your input." Councillor Lerai rose, her expression calm but firm. "The Charter must honor Zilori tradition," she said. "Our laws protect lineage and heritage. Any child of the Queen must be raised in our sacred groves and learn our ancestral songs." Several elders nodded in agreement. On the human side, Dr. Marisol Chen, a legal advisor, spoke next. "Human law requires recognition of personhood at birth," she explained. "The child will have the rights of a citizen of Earth, including education and medical care." She handed out copies of proposed articles. Evan watched as the two sides studied the documents. He felt hope stir in his chest. This open dialogue was proof that unity need not be forced. Nerathia stepped forward. Her voice was clear and gentle, yet carried the weight of a queen. "We seek balance," she said. "Our child will carry both songs and science. I propose that it spend its early years in both worlds, learning among the Zilori and studying among humans." A murmur swept the chamber. Some Zilori elders frowned, but others leaned forward, intrigued. A human delegate tapped her pen and nodded. Councillor Lerai met Nerathia's gaze, then inclined her head in respect. "Your words honor both peoples," Lerai said. "I support this proposal." With that, debate turned to specifics. Education programs on Novalith, cultural exchanges on Earth, translation services for biosong. Evan took notes as Nerathia listened, her face serene. By afternoon, the council had agreed on a preliminary charter. Hands shook across the table, scaly Zilori fingers and human hands clasped in friendship. After the meeting, Nerathia and Evan walked through the arboreal gardens. Flowers from both planets bloomed in soft beds. Nerathia paused to smell a cluster of blue orchids, earth blooms engineered to thrive in Novalith's air. She turned to Evan. "Today was a triumph," she said quietly. "We built bridges, not walls." Evan smiled. "Each step we take now shapes the future," he replied. They paused at a reflecting pool, where bioluminescent fish glided beneath the surface. Nerathia gazed at her reflection and then at Evan's. "I could not have done this alone," she admitted. "Your guidance steadies me." Evan's eyes softened. "Your courage inspires me," he said. "You carry two worlds in your heart." Nerathia placed her hand on his arm. A gentle warmth passed between them, an unspoken bond forged by shared purpose. That evening, the pavilion's central hall hosted a cultural exchange. On one side, Zilori musicians with stringed instruments shaped from living vines performed ancient songs of the stars. On the other, human dancers in bright costumes moved to rhythms of drum and wind. The crowd mingled freely. Children laughed as they learned simple Zilori dance steps. Elders nodded in approval at human harmonies. Nerathia took the stage between the two troops. Raising her hands, she sang a new biosong that blended Zilori melody with human rhythm. Her voice carried over the assembled crowd, weaving the two styles into a single soaring harmony. The music swelled, and humans and Zilori alike felt their differences fade. When the last note faded, the pavilion erupted in applause that echoed through the domes. Later, as the guests departed under a sky glittering with foreign stars, Nerathia and Evan stood alone on a balcony. Nerathia's hand rested on her belly, now rounded with new life. "Our child will know joy," she whispered. "It will grow in a world where borders mean little." Evan nodded. "Thanks to you, it will." He looked out at the gardens, then back at Nerathia. "Have you thought about names?" he asked with a gentle smile. Narathia considered, her amber eyes shining. Ariath, she said at last. It means bridge between worlds. In the days that followed, plans took shape across both planets. Human architects drafted designs for a cultural institute on Novalith. Silori artists sketched murals for Earth's new embassy in the arboreal gardens. Scholars prepared textbooks to teach biosong theory in Earth universities. News of these projects reached distant colonies, inspiring hope that long-frozen relations could thaw. At the pavilion, Narathia's condition advanced smoothly. Evan monitored her health, adjusting treatments with gentle care. Counselor Heir joined Narathia for morning meditations, learning the intricacies of biosong. Ambassador Reyes visited often, offering support and sharing news of Earth's preparations. One morning, Narathia found Evan studying a stack of children's books. He looked up, his face alight. "I thought these might help you," he said, handing her a simple tale of human families. "I can translate it into Zilori for you." Narathia accepted the book with gratitude. "Thank you," she said. "Together, we prepare for Ariath's world." That night, as pale moons rose over Novalith's skies, Narathia drifted into sleep to the soft hum of the pavilion's life systems. In her dreams, she saw a child with her eyes and Evan's gentle smile singing under twin suns. A chorus of Silori elders and human children joined in, their voices a single joyous song. In the quiet darkness, hope bloomed. Two worlds, once distant and wary, had forged a bond that no force could break. And at its heart was a queen and a scientist, standing side by side, ready to welcome the dawn of a new era. Queen Narathia woke before sunrise, her heart full of calm excitement. The Pavilion of Unity was quiet, lit only by soft, bioluminescent vines. She rose slowly, mindful of the life growing within her. Dr. Evan Calder stood nearby, ready with a warm blanket and a gentle smile. Today, the long-awaited moment would arrive. Evan led Narathia to the birthing chamber, a circular room filled with soft cushions, living plants, and soothing sounds of running water. The floor was heated just enough to ease her body's work. Narathia breathed deeply, drawing on her biosong practice to steady her nerves. Each breath carried a note of strength, each pulse a promise of hope. As the first stirrings of labor began, Narathia's voice rose in a low rhythmic hum. The vines overhead glowed brighter, responding to her song. Evan watched the monitors quietly, his hand always ready at her back. Ambassador Talia Reyes and Counselor Heir waited outside, ready to offer support once the Queen willed it. Hours passed. Narathia's biosong shifted from soft hums to clear, strong tones. The vines pulsed in time with her words, as if singing along. Evan brought her tea infused with Silori sap and earth herbs to keep her strength high. He spoke gentle encouragements, reminding her how far she had come. At last a soft cry broke the chamber's stillness. Narathia's eyes filled with tears as she reached down and lifted a small, glowing child into her arms. The baby's skin was pale teal, with human-like eyes that opened to study the world. A tiny voice cooed, the first note of a new song. Narathia pressed her face to the infant, singing a lullaby that fused Silori melody with human rhyme. Evan stepped forward, marveling at the sight. He gently cleaned the child and wrapped it in a soft blanket woven with earth fibers and Silori vines. Ambassador Reyes and Counselor Heir entered together. Heir knelt and placed a garland of glowing flowers around Narathia's shoulders, a blessing of the old ways. The ambassador offered a small earth bronze star, symbol of human hope. Narathia accepted both gifts, her heart full. As dawn broke, over Novalith's twin suns, Narathia held her child to the sky. The baby reached out, and a gentle glow spread from its hands into the vines above. The Pavilion of Unity brimmed with light as humans and Zilori gathered outside, hearing the Queen's triumphant song. No words were needed. Everyone felt the promise of a new era. In the days that followed, Narathia and Evan introduced their child, Ariath to both peoples. Ariath learned to hum simple bio-songs that made flowers bloom, then clapped hands in wonder at human toys. Counselors and ambassadors visited to see the heir who united two worlds. News spread across the galaxy of this miracle, inspiring hope in distant colonies. By the time Ariath's first steps arrived, the Charter of Unity was ratified. Human and Zilori scholars opened the Cultural Institute on Novalith. Children from both species studied side by side, learning each other's histories, languages, and songs. Nerethia, strong once more, taught biosong classes to young Zilori while Evan led botanical workshops for human students. Late one evening, Nerethia and Evan walked through the arboreal gardens. Ariath nestled in Nerethia's arms. The child cooed, reaching for glowing petals that bent to touch little fingers. Evan watched them with pride. "Look how she bridges our worlds," he said softly. Nerethia smiled. "She carries both our hearts," she replied. Under the glow of twin moons, Nerethia sang a soft farewell to the day's end, and Ariath hummed back. The vines glowing in time were witnesses to a new age. Two worlds, once separate, now moved forward together, guided by a queen, a scientist, and the child who united them all. End of Part 5.